So you can't find a neutral ground. Anywhere you are, something will fight you. So war is part of your lot and portion. So sharpen your, look for a weapon to hold, because a day is coming. In the days of war, it is ignorant of you not to carry something, because anything can be a weapon. The Bible speaks about a man named Samson. He only had a jab bow of an axe. So if Samson, if you come against Samson, if he can carry this speaker, it became a weapon. If he can carry a microphone, it became a weapon. Anything Samson carries is a weapon. This is a man that was skilled in the ways of war. But if we excavate his life very well, we will now realize there was no military school that schooled him. He was schooled in the spirit. So you can be schooled in the spirit on how to fight war. So there are some wars that are not fought physically, they are fought in the spirit. Yet again, you gain the victory physically. But many of the wars you fight physically never gain a victory in the spirit. That's why Nigeria is the way it is. In fact, Nigeria's soldiers are part of the best soldiers. They gave their life so well for their country. But yet again, there is no impact in the spirit. Do you know why? Because only spiritual warfare gives physical victory. So if you can fight physically and you succeed physically, you will see fail spiritually. But when you fight spiritually, I'm assuring you, spiritually, physically, we align by itself. Check why you are failing in life is because you have been failing spiritual battles. As long as you can be the one winning, very soon your life will come into order. And when your life begins to win in the spirit, in the physical, it will reflect it. So never accept any designation of a failure when you come to the matters of spiritual war. So peradventure, they come to press you, they come to attack you. You are always a victim. This night is a night to cry, God, give me something. I need to hold on to something. I need a sword. I need an arrow. I need a bow. I just need something. Peradventure, there is a weapon of war. Say, thou art my battle axe, my weapon of war. You can be an extension of the excellency of the vengeance of God. You can be an extension of the excellency of the wrath of God. And through you, God can judge. Out of the mouth of babes and sucklings, he has ordained praise. Why? Let the high praise of the Lord be upon their lips, and a two-edged sword upon their hands, to execute vengeance upon the hidden. There is a glory upon the saints that they must fight war. In the days God want to war in Lafia, who will he use? The soldiers of Lafia, they will run away. In the days Goliath appear, who will fight? We are talking about the days when giants will come upon the face of the earth. In the days when plague and pandemic come, who are the people that will stand for us? There are things that soldiers cannot do physically. In fact, there are things that our government cannot do. Nigeria is in the state of decadence. We are going backward. Returning back to old national anthem will not make 1 naira to be equal to $1. We are wasting our time. Our problem is very spiritual. If my people who are called by my name shall humble themselves and turn from their wicked ways and seek my face. It is a very complicated issue. We can't find that alignment in the body of Christ in Nigeria. Not to talk about the political arena. So our problem will be think that Tinubu is, after Tinubu, another worse. Check, from the day you were giving birth to till now, has Nigeria ever become better? That's to let you understand that what will solve our problem is something beyond the physical. Even if they change the constitution, nothing will happen. If they like, they should divide Nigeria into every state. We will have more worse leaders in every state, because the evil has been so imprinted upon our soul. Our problem has to be traced from the realm of the spirit. It's a warfare. There is a beast that governs the territory of the government of Nigeria. And until you don't look like your own family, until you don't look like that territory, you may never excel. Because everybody look like an Igbo man, everybody look like a Yoruba man, everybody look like an Hausa man. Nobody is called out from their tribe and kindred. Nobody is coming from Zion. Everybody look like where they are coming from. Except we find people that are totally consecrated, separated from what men call men, what men call an advantage. Men can never excel. So we must be able to understand the goal of spiritual warfare is to cause a separation, so that those that belong to the Lord can be girded with strength. The Bible says a time is going to come when God will give strength to those that will take the battle to the gate of the enemy. The reason why you have not even excelled is because you don't want to fight back. The day you begin to fight, strength will come. Everyone that says, if I fight, I fight. If I die, I die. They always excel. But those that are afraid are the ones that they kill first. They make them to become the launching pad, the stepping stone for others to climb. Go to valley full of dry bones and sometimes wonder, every army has been shot down, waiting for a prophet to prophesy. You can be that prophet that will rise upon your life and say, oh God, no more again. This thing cannot continue in my life. It cannot continue in my family. Everywhere you go to, you must fight. Upon the platter of gold, nothing. I don't know about you, but I fight for everything that I got. I fight for it. I fight. Nothing happened for me cheaply. And I assure you, anything you fight for, nobody can take it again. I have given you the land. Rise up and contend for it in battle. Anytime God wants to give you an inheritance, He will put enemies around, so that if you can't survive in the midst of enemies, you are not ready for it. You won't even value it. He prepared a table before you in the presence of your enemy. Sometimes, if you check around, you are only surrounded by friends. You are not wise. You can't go far. You need to be surrounded by so many enemies. You cannot hate yourself. You can't criticize yourself. You can't fight. You need enemies. Enemies. When enemies trouble, they surround you. Just know that you are about to go up. Because how will God prosper a man without an enemy? What is your testimony? How can you have a testimony if things did not surround you? When men are talking about in the days when the garrison of soldiers surrounded us, and it looks as though we will not see tomorrow, suddenly the strength of God came upon me. And I took a jar bow of an axe, and I was able to defeat 1,000 garrisons. When David began to give his own escapade, this one give you be among them, and you're wondering, me, I did not do anything. No. When everybody is talking about how they were traveling, an accident happened and they survived. Somebody talk about how in their family, after every 2 years, somebody died and they survived. Somebody talk about, so everybody is talking about how the kingdom of darkness pressed them beyond measure. And yet again, they did not die, they survived. How? Because they wait at night to pray. You can't say anything because you are afraid of war. And because you are afraid of war, there is no testimony attached to your life. Do you realize that our life looks more sweet and bitter? But in the sweetness and the bitterness is what we are finding definition. When we talk about our story, how we suffer, you find hope. So what makes you think that your life will be of any interest to anybody if you don't go through things in life? So God will allow you go through the same warfare as some of us are going through, so that in the dead end when you start to speak, men can hear you. Because what is common among men is warfare. Peradventure, your father is a reverend, your mother is an archreverend, your grandfather was an archbishop. All of them fought warfare. They have killed all the witches in your family. It's possible for you to wake up, you are in the beer parlor smoking igbo, and Jesus is still appearing to you. But there are people that actually came out of all kinds of obscurity. They are the only Christian in their family. Everybody is an idol worshiper. When that one stands to speak, many people can relate to that person. Why? Because that person came out of an example that is not common. You are a very holy boy, born from a Virgin Mary, suffer under Pontius Pilate, crucified, dead and buried, that your father went through. You are just nice. There was no warfare attached to your life. Your life will be sweet. Your story will not make sense. Even you will not like your story. One guy said he hates it. He said dangerous thing for a man to just be born, and they say there is 10 billion naira attached to your name. You don't know the value of labor. You have never been hungry before in your life. Even Jesus, the Bible says he was hungered and he was taken to the wilderness, tempted by the devil. There are things that are common among men. It's part of what we call warfare. In the days when you are hungry, no food to eat, is spiritual. Because I know the spirit that stopped that money from entering your account. They send money, it refuses to reflect in your bank account. After 2 weeks, you went to the bank, they check, they refresh. You enter your mobile app, you refresh, nothing shows. So you are subjected to spiritual warfare. A spirit held the money somewhere. It's like what we call the prince of Persia. When Daniel was praying, he was praying, oh God, hearken unto my prayer. A prince appeared, heard the prayer. So he was refreshing. Nothing was refreshing the mobile app. He downloaded the latest version, he still zero. So he has to contend again. But in the day the angel appeared, say from the very first day you began praying. The token of spiritual warfare is that you understand victory at last. Victory at last. But one thing is certain, that you grieve spiritually. Because no anything that is worse than that can ever happen to him again. Because the challenge you are going through right now, that is a warfare getting across to your life, is supposed to build a template for you to be a deliverer for another nation. But if you do not go through this thing now, how can you be a deliverer for others? I have called Abraham your father, Sarah your mother. Look unto them. What was their life like? Came out of obscurity, they suffered, and out of that they were able to survive. They were so barren, they had nothing. In fact, the time came, Abraham began to ask God, all these promises you are promising me, who will inherit it? Don't you know I'm barren? In the Chronicles of the Spirit, God looked upon it as just a warfare. I have given you a child, but you have to rise up and possess it. In the day the Israelites were going through captivity, they were suffering. In fact, according to scripture, they were suffering in Egypt for 40 years. How many of us are up to 40 years here, apart from our mothers? For 40 years, you are serving in captivity. No hope of returning, until one day God said, I have given you a promised land. A promised land that you need to go and overcome. But mind you, even this promised land, you cannot just go and overcome it like that. You have to go and fight again. So everything that God gives you, you will still be demanded to fight. And that's beautiful.